Information-fueled.
Opinion-driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
5:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want you to think about it this way. Today is the last full weekday that we have to deal with Joe Biden and his administration. I want you to think about not only the fact that, thank the Lord, it's Friday, but it is also, again, the last full weekday that we have to deal with Joe Biden. Now, if you listened yesterday, you know that we had a comedy of errors, technically. And it wasn't KGB's fault, but I believe all of the issues have been fixed. And we actually now have, I believe, figured out how to do an official poll, Nashville's Morning News, on YouTube. And we just put it up. Here's what our question is. So if you want to watch the radio show, you can go to YouTube, find us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and take the poll. What is your favorite Trump plan ahead of course, his inauguration on Monday? Is it A, mass deportation? Is it economic reform? Or is it the end of DEI? What are you most looking forward to? So that is our Nashville's Morning News YouTube poll. So if you want to watch the radio show, you can, and go take our poll as well. By the way, KGB, can we figure out, clearly we can figure out what people's priority is? There's a way to find out the results?
Yes, I have the live results as we speak. 6 votes already, 50% go mass deportation, 50% DEI.
Wow, I'm a little surprised by that.
I am too.
What is your...
mass deportation just took the lead.
I'm all for mass deportation. If Jay is back there and actually listening instead of doing his job of preparing the news. Jay, what is your big Trump priority that you're looking forward to on Monday?
For me, it's rounding up the illegal criminals and getting them the heck out of here.
All right, mass deportation.
Yes, sir.
Economic reform, end of DEI as well. So thank you, KGB, for working so hard. He had to talk to 4 corporate engineers, and we had to go through about 3 different lawyers as well. So he was able to get it done. So thank you. Go take the poll right now. Would really appreciate it if you would play along. Speaking of which, mass deportation. Oh, my Lord. There is so much news to talk about real quick. We all know that Joe Biden is weak on crime, weak especially on illegal aliens. Just a couple of abhorrent headlines as we all look forward to Monday when Trump is sworn in and the war against Tren de Aragua and sanctuary cities and illegal aliens does begin. But listen to these headlines, because this is horrifying. Number 1. A Connecticut parole board has actually pardoned an illegal alien, a pedophile, who says he might actually reoffend. Rather horrifying, is it not? A convicted pedophile, an illegal migrant, was released from a Connecticut prison last month after his sympathetic parole board mulled how to best help him avoid deportation from Donald Trump. The crazy thing about this story is that the parole board, even after this dude says, well, I can't guarantee you that I'm not going to, reoffend and go molesting little children. I can't guarantee that I'm not going to do that. They actually talked about how to help him not be deported. I mean, that is absolutely insane. Garino Magliori, 52, was serving 5 years in prison for felony second-degree sexual assault against a child between 13 and 15 years old. He was convicted of sexually assaulting the child on March 11th of 2020. And so then he's got a parole hearing. I guess this was New Year's Eve, so it was last month. And he said he can't promise that he's not going to offend again. Here's the exact quote. I can't say that I promise that it's not going to happen because that's not always a thing. When you say, oh, I promise, he told the parole board, no, I'm not going to say I promise, but I'll definitely try to do my best to keep myself away from situations like that again. Now, this guy has been here since the age of 11. He's from Haiti, and ICE, they're ready to be deported. Absolutely ready to be deported. So this guy is now out. It's crazy. An illegal sex offender who can't promise that he won't do it again. Then you have this story. Headline from the Daily Mail from just this morning. Joe Biden's DOJ gives a sweetheart plea deal to a murderous gang leader who Donald Trump wanted to execute. This is horrifying. And I think this is why there's so many people, when we ask the question in our YouTube poll, what is your favorite Trump plan? Mass deportation, economic reform, end of DEI. I'm willing to bet that more people, if you go take the poll right now, watch us on YouTube, more people are going to say mass deportation because of stories like this. A notorious MS-13 gang leader who admitted to his involvement in at least 7 murders received a sweetheart plea deal thanks to Joe Biden's Department of Justice. Guy's name is Jairo Sayanez, 28 years old. He will avoid the death penalty and life in prison, as he will receive a sentence of 40 to 60 years on charges including murder, attempted murder, and arson. He and his gang of thugs, by the way, including his brother, macheted a couple of poor girls to death. It's horrible. Macheted and baseball bats. That's what they do with MS-13. In his time running the gang in Suffolk County, New York, their branch was linked to several violent cases, including the murder of 2 Brentwood high school girls with, again, a machete and a baseball bat in September of 2016. Now, this guy's branch of the gang was dismantled during Donald Trump's first term in office as he launched a federal crackdown on MS-13. Do you remember the good old days?
We believe the monsters who murder children should be put to death. We seem to have quite a good agreement on that. These people murder children, and they do it as slowly and viciously as possible. We will not allow these animals to terrorize our communities, and my administration will not rest until every member of MS-13 is brought to justice.
Yeah, now we also have Trende Aragua to worry about. Now, at their arrests, it sparked a lot of controversy because this guy and his brother, who killed these 2 girls, sparked outrage by joking and laughing in court while the girls' families watched on. And once in jail, he is said to have taken part in violent attacks on other inmates and assaulted the corrections officers as well. Now, if Sayanez serves the lower end of his 40 to 60 year sentence, it will amount to, get this, less than 6 years for each murder he is admitted to committing or ordering. And Joe Biden wants to make sure that this guy stays alive. In a statement to Fox News after the plea deal was announced, a spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed to Fox News that this guy and his dirtbag murderous brother were no longer facing the possibility of the death penalty, saying that our office had been directed by the U.S. Attorney General in 2023 not to seek the death penalty. Unbelievable. Now, here's another question for you. Do you really think that on January 20th, when Trump is sworn in and it's time to begin the mass deportation, starting with people that are in Trende Aragua, MS-13, and so forth, do you think they're going to go quietly? No, they're not. And some very worrisome predictions coming up next. It is 5:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
To get our Friday morning commute started at 16 minutes past 5. No accidents or breakdowns slowing down your commute this morning. We've got traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jay. 5:16, Nashville's morning news. As far as your weather goes today, it's going to be a high of 57. Rain tonight, warmer on Saturday, and then apparently on Sunday is when the really frigid temperatures begin. So we're going to talk about that, and we'll have that complete forecast for you at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here talking about everything that's going on regarding illegal immigration and mass deportation, which will begin on Monday after Donald Trump takes the oath of office. And we're talking about horrible people that will, a lot of these folks been living here for a long time, maybe a short time. Biden let them in. Maybe they've been here for years, whatever. There is a guy named Victor Avila. Now, he was on Fox News. He is a former ICE agent, and he knows everything that's been going on with the Biden administration, from, asking states not to put these dirtbag murderers to death, like in the story that I just reported to you, or like in Connecticut, where they released a child molester who couldn't promise that he wouldn't molest again. These are the kinds of policies that ushered Donald Trump right into office. And Victor Avila, a former ICE agent, has been there for it all. He's been watching all of this, and he was on Fox News. And he says that all of these gangbangers have actually gotten used to being able to literally get away with murder. And they're not going to go quietly.
These individuals are armed and dangerous, and it's not like when you go and pick them up, they're going to, I think, go easily into the custody of ICE officials or other immigration officials. They're going to put up a fight because they're here for a very different agenda, and that's the caution that ICE officials and others will have to take on when they do approach them come here next week very soon.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. These guys have guns. They have machetes, and they have whatever else they need to battle ICE. And so now the worry seems to be, since these guys do have those guns and they do have those machetes, all kinds of weapons, if ICE shows up and they're going to deport them, they're going to arrest them, whatever, then there is going to be war in the streets. There's going to be bullets flying. And you think gang warfare right now is bad on the streets of Chicago? I'm just thinking, what is it going to be like if Tom Homan and ICE show up trying to arrest Trende Aragua? I mean, heck, here in Tennessee, we know that they're here. I mean, I've covered this for you ad nauseum at this point. We know that Trende Aragua is in every major Tennessee city, including here in Nashville. So what happens when ICE shows up here? What happens when our governor and our state legislature, they're all working with the Trump administration to get these bad guys out of here and deport them or do whatever it is that they need to do with these folks? Are you worried that bullets are going to fly? Because there's a lot of people that are. Now, coming up, right before the news, Jay Harper is in for Joan Jones. Before the news, I don't know if you saw this, but Josh Hawley, one of my favorites, by the way, in the Senate, absolutely eviscerates a guy, staying with the theme of illegal immigration, absolutely eviscerates a guy who said that migrant crime, illegal alien crime, isn't really all that big of a deal. As you can imagine, Josh Hawley just tears this guy apart. It is great audio. I've got it for you. It is 5:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. News is coming up with Jay Harper at 5:30. Jay, what do we got?
Yes, sir, Dan. Well, are you a TikTok fan? Well, we've got some news on the controversial but popular app and more bickering in Congress over Trump cabinet picks. What else is new? We'll have those stories and more at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.